Hey, everybody, and welcome to the afternoon program of BCB Live. Here we are at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, starting it off, as always, excited the fact that we are at 64 days of driving safe and 5 days of getting out. And look, we're approaching the 1 week mark. By the end of the week, we will be there. Right, Dylan?
Yeah, we will. We're fast approaching those high-numbered streaks, which I couldn't be more proud. I mean, we're in the 100 deadliest days of the year right now, and this week continues to show just how safe they really are. It's incredible.
So as we continue to talk about the streaks, continue to talk about the successes, we're only mentioning it because we're going to show and demonstrate that it can be done. Right,
exactly.
That we can continue to be safe.
Exactly, and I think that if anybody's going to prove it, it's definitely going to be the BCB fleet. I mean, making it happen every single day. We've been talking about situational awareness a lot and just being aware of that, and I think everybody's really taken that to heart and really taking that for what it is. And
I'll tell you another thing that is impressive is Bezos' space flight.
Okay, yeah. So
okay,
I'm glad you wanted to talk about that
because I watched it on the news yesterday out here in West Texas.
In West Texas.
Out here in Midland, right? We launched for a 10. There it is, right there. Looks good.
You know what's crazy? I've seen a lot about this because it's been on every news, everything for the past week it seems like, and there was somebody who was supposed to ride in the spaceship with him, who paid like $30 million or something like that for this ticket, said, "Oh, I can't make it. Sorry, I got scheduling conflicts." What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm making that. I want to know. First of all, yeah. I want to know what was more important than a free ride to space.
No idea. And also
where
you spend
are your priorities first of all?
No, yeah, and also you're spending $30 million on that ticket. I'm going to make it happen. I'm sorry.
My wife would make me get on there. I'm just saying, if I spend $30 million on a ride, I'm riding.
Yeah, definitely. And their money did go to good use. That I actually got a picture of the launch pad that they launched out of the other day. And so it was a really clean launch. Everybody made it there and back, and it was a good time.
No, I'll tell you, I did watch that. One of the nice stories out of all of this was the oldest female astronaut that has now got her wings. Did you see that? She, I think she's 68. Is that right? Is that the right number?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, she's 68. She was in the 70s. She was one of the Right Stuff women. And to try to make it, but they told her that she was the wrong gender, and here we are later on. She got to do it here at 50 years later. She's now got to go to space, learned her astronaut wings, because definitely a cool story, and she's very energetic and pretty neat story, pretty awesome deal.
Yeah, I think so too. She's now the oldest person to have been to space, which is incredible. It would be cool to see more people get access to that as things kind of come to a T here. I don't know. It's interesting to me. The whole news cycle of it has been interesting. It's like all the super rich people are making a space race now. It's like the guy from Virgin Airlines went first, and then Jeff Bezos was like, no, that wasn't far enough, and so then he went a little bit farther, and it's like
you know what? I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm okay with it. At least somebody's doing it. Look, let's be honest. All right. In the 70s, there were computers, right, that were created. These IBM computers, and somebody called gamers got involved with them and started overclocking the CPUs and overclocking the APUs, and it started working on the motherboards and making them faster, and then these motherboards started getting better and better, and the only people that were really involved with making these computers better and stronger were the actual gamers that were actually trying to demand more video out of it and more, operational operation in the software than more demanding than anybody, and that actually fueled that industry. That multi-billion-dollar industry is what has helped funnel technology and its demand to make better computers.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I think that is necessary. I think hobbyists push things a lot like that.
Oh, absolutely.
But I too wish that maybe we bring like scientists up there. I don't know, they're like doing some research.
When the money follows, it always happens.
Yeah.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
No,
and
I hear
mean,
you.
the hobbyists were the same guys in the 60s that were, the real guys that were putting the muscle cars together and really funneling those muscle cars and boring out those cars, making them faster and better and quicker. And you can see some of the coolest cars that ever come from that era. The most strongest and most powerful cars that came out of that. And I'm not talking about the ones that you see in what are the race movies?
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Those with I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about real muscle cars, the GTOs and the TAs and the real cars, the Camaros and and those cars, the Cobra Jets and all that. Those were all started by hobbyists.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. And I like that you bring up cars. I know you're a car guy, and I know that your wife also deals with perfumes, colognes, and things like that.
Yes.
So now I know that you're mentioning muscle cars, right? So Ford coming out with a new Mustang in a couple years. I believe it's going to be the first e-Mustang. It's going to be electric powered. So for those of you guys who are muscle car fans and who miss revving that engine, smelling that gas, getting the fumes of the rubber burning the road, luckily for you, Ford is coming out in Europe only, mind you, with a cologne that smells like gasoline and rubber, so that you can always remember that sweet smell of street racing whenever you're out there on the road.
First of all, so as you know, my wife's in the industry, and I'm already asked to see if she can get us this cologne, but I'm going to tell you she's very finicky and been in the profession 35 years in the cologne in that business. And as a buyer, a seller, and in marketing, and I'm going to tell you right now, if it smells like diesel, it's not going to make a good selling.
It doesn't just smell like diesel. Here's what they're saying, right? So in case you're wondering,
the ancillary? Let me tell you, is that the primary or is that the ancillary, or which smell?
It's only in Europe, so I don't know, but it's not just straight up fuel, right? It's also gonna be fusing smoky accords, aspects of rubber, and even an animal element, right? So it's gonna be, who knows what it's gonna look like. My guess is that we're gonna see something similar to what we've already seen out in Anchorman. A little bit of that cologne that works 60% of the time, every time.
60% of the time, every time. I'll tell you. And by the way, deer. I mean, what are we gonna put, a deer urine in it? I'm not okay with that. But I am gonna find out what my wife. I've already sent her a link to that to make sure. Say, hey, what is this? What's going on? I sure would like to know what a professional says about it, right? So, because I would give her, I would say that she's probably very knowledgeable in there. I mean, she's believe it or not, she's even met some of the most famous of designers and stuff like that in the business, all dating all the way back to Coco Chanel. So anyway, it from years and years ago, back in the 70s. So pretty neat stuff.
I believe you, and if she can get her hands on that cologne, I
Mock
personally
you.
mock you. Yes, mock you is what it's called.
Mock you.
Mock you. And a lot of people will mock you if you start wearing it around the office
I thought
also.
it was
So
fake when I saw the name.
yeah, no,
Mock you.
honestly, so did I. But there's actually like statements from Ford on here. and
Okay,
so-
good. I'm actually So we talked a little bit this morning as far as one of the topics we talked about, and that was the Bluetooth connection between the tractor and the trailer in the satellite system, linking in and knowing when they're hooked. And so every driver out here, I'll tell you the one thing that I liked about this, no matter what, it helped you find the trailer in the lot of trailers, right? Wow. So no more of that trolling, right? When you get to FedEx and you got to go 900 trailers down, or go over to Purina in Oklahoma City and you got 1,200 trailers out there. You got to go find your trailer, right? So very neat stuff, very cool stuff to be able to find your trailer. And you know what? I think it's great technology. The only debate that we had this morning was the battery debate. Hey, we have batteries that will last 7 years.
Which, like,
Never
understandable. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
My favorite is that they say a lifetime guarantee on your battery for your car. Are
Yeah,
you kidding me?
lifetime until it dies. The life of the battery.
I have never, ever, ever understood that lifetime guarantee on a battery, because the problem is the guy that sold it to you, you're not going to be there when your battery goes out. How are you going to get to that guy when the battery's out?
So, I don't know. Where's my? But I have a lifetime guarantee here.
You know what? I just get another battery.
Yeah. At a certain point, you just get another battery.
Just buy another battery. I mean,
I will say, I think that's also going to reduce a lot of fuel consumption too. Like you said, no trolling around the lot looking for your trailer. You're gonna know where it is, so you just go find it, and that's
there's going to
it.
be some good confirmation. You're going to be. I mean, there have been times in the past. It doesn't happen very frequently, but people do make mistakes. They do. It does happen. Somebody picks up the wrong trailer.
Yeah.
It's off by one digit, and like instead of 7321653, they may have picked up 7321853 in the dark. You know what I mean? And it's just off, not by one digit, but you can't really tell the difference between the 6 and the 8. And then the next thing I know, the trailer's 200 miles from where it needed to be.
Yeah.
And that has happened in the past. And one of these things that this may stop from happening is those small and simple mistakes that occur during that time. You said you had somebody on the line?
Yes, we do. Got Jeff Marsh on the line. What do you got for us?
What's up, Jeff?
Hey, Dave. Yeah, talking about that Purina over in Oklahoma City. There was like one day I was over there, I couldn't find the trailer, and I had a yard dog help me, and he searched around, he couldn't find it, and so he had to leave and everything. So I found another yard dog, and it was actually in the back, in the corner, and I mean, it's like you couldn't really see it. It was really hard to see. I mean, it was like a gap where you could just barely see the number. And so I found him, and I was like, "Here it is," And he had I think he had actually moved another trailer to get to it. I mean, it's like deep in the.
Yeah, and you know what? And that took forever. And that beats down on your time. That beats down on your clock. That causes problems. Plus, this would eliminate, a lot of those issues, being able to find the right trailer, knowing instantly where it is on the yard, And I think that I think what it does, Jeffrey, that this GPS marker, I think it has a getting close, you're warm, getting warm, colder, and it warmer, hot. I think that's what it says on the little beeper thing, so you'll be able to find.
I think that's a game we used to play when we were kids, right?
Yes. Same game, just new technology to make it happen. I just think some stuff's going to be able to help us, and I think in the long run it'll definitely benefit us, and maybe we won't be grabbing the wrong trailer and going out 500 miles or whatever on the wrong trailer.
Exactly. And I know recently we have been talking about the Volvo strike that has ended recently. I know we've got some new trucks out here that were made before that all went on, and we got some cool stuff coming up. And I would hope that you'd be able to comment on this, or maybe get your daughter to comment on this, because I know she works in Frito-Lay. But Frito-Lay is actually going through its 3rd week in a row of striking over working conditions right now. There's hundreds of Frito-Lay workers over in Topeka, Kansas.
Yeah, it's
that
at one
are
facility.
in their 3rd week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at one facility in Topeka. They're striking. I do know that they're doing that. She did mention that. It is RSAs and RSRs. They are, and not just people in the plant. They're actually the distributors complaining about the length of hours and the working conditions and not being compensated for long hours of working. Working 12, 15 hours a day and doing it 5, 7, 6 days a week and not being compensated for it. So I can understand the difficulties. My daughter won't comment on it. Being in management, I can tell you that. She actually said, "Dad, I can't comment on it." And I was like, "I'm your father," and she said, "Still, I can't comment on it."
That
was like,
admirable. I see where your heart lies.
No,
yeah.
I don't. No, I get it. It was a good test, but no, it is good stuff, and I understand, and in all actuality, I get it. At some point you have to make a call and make a judgment call, and especially in today's market, and if HR is not helping you in that regard, you got to do something, right?
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be hard. I'm a big fan of some Fritos bean dip. If
Who's not? I mean, who's not a fan of the Fritos bean dip? But I think chips are probably genuinely my demise. Cheesy chips.
Oh yeah, see, anytime I'm out, if I go on like a hike or if I go camping or something about Fritos bean dip, there's no meal on this planet that compares to Fritos bean dip after being out in the wild for like a couple days.
Do you like Fritos bean dip genuinely? Do you like it with Fritos, right?
No, oh yeah, you get the spicy bean dip with the Fritos, and that's the way to go.
You gotta have the Fritos, right? The
Yeah.
big scoop, the big one, yeah. And then you dig in there and you get the big. And you know that I tell you, you eat the big Fritos bean dip, and I'm gonna be honest. I think that is just lard and beans. I don't think it's.
Let's not beat around the bush here. We know what it is. It's not. Hold on, give me a second. I'll find it. But yeah, it's not. It's not
It's
great
not
for
vegetable oil. It's not sunflower oil, and they don't use stevia or any stevia or whatever it is that's healthy. But I am going to go out on a limb and say, but you know what? It's good. You eat it with a Frito, and we've all peeled back the can, cut our finger on the can, and still eaten licked the can lid off so that before we toss it, right? Because we're not going to get rid of any of that bean dip.
Honestly, I'm gonna be. I'll be real with you. I'm looking at the ingredients and the nutritional value and everything. Lots of sodium, definitely. Obviously, in case 2 tablespoons is gonna get you a lot of sodium, but. Pinto beans
serving.
In a serving. That's 2 tablespoons. Yeah, but I will say it's pinto beans, corn oil, cornstarch, some onion, garlic, and just some like salt, vinegar, peppers, things like that. No lard. I'm
lard.
shocked.
I swear to God,
Actually,
I thought it had lard in it.
Honestly, from my years of consumption, I would have also thought that there was lard in that.
And I'm okay with it because you know what, I can eat. Do you buy the tiny ones or do you just get the big ones?
I get the little ones, and it's
why do you
just
get the
they're
little
easy.
ones? I mean, if you're
okay.
because you'll eat the big one, right?
Yeah, I'll eat the big one. And so I get them, like I said, whenever I'll take them on hikes, I take them camping, so, and I don't ever keep it in the house or anything. I have it like just in my backpack or something.
Of the little ones?
I have it in my backpack, yeah. So they stay there with me. I have a bag of Fritos. It's good, and there's nothing like it. It doesn't. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. But I definitely like the big can. I mean, if you're gonna I'll pop the big can, and I will go through a half a bag. And I'll go have a bag of those big ones and of the big Fritos and the can in no time at all.
Oh, yeah, no, I will have a little bit of shame saying I've been there. I've definitely ran through a can or two of Fritos bean dip. I'm not proud of it, but it's part of the human experience. You got to go through some Fritos bean dip every now and then. All
right, and hey, we've been joined by Mr. Bean Dip himself, Sir Rick. Hey, do you like bean dip from the Fritos?
What? I'm here to talk about safety, sir. I'm all about safety.
We've been talking about safety.
Loving the highway, just loving my job.
We
feeling
have been
blessed.
talking about. Actually, we digressed into a small conversation about bean dip and
I
how.
can imagine, sir. I mean, big conversations happen when I'm here. When the upper echelon ones. You know what? A lot of news, a lot of knowledge involved right here in this head of mine, sir.
Is it
More than bean dip? That I can tell you. Hey, if you didn't see that last night, we talked about this morning. Milwaukee Bucks, the NBA champions. Congrats, Milwaukee Bucks. Congrats, any fans out there of Milwaukee. The dude right there that you're seeing, pure stud. He tore it up, 50 points yesterday. He's got a little flex going on. Drive safe. Is that what you look like when you got your basketball shirt on?
Yeah, it used to. I mean, but now it doesn't
Did
quite
it ever?
look that.
Did it ever?
Oh yeah, pretty much like that. Definitely was sporting the Studley moves right there.
Hey, he's
ago.
on the diet now, dude. Watch out. He's
Watch
gonna
out!
start
I'm on my
squirting
way.
it.
I'm getting back to trim shape. Official number today was 11.
Good
I know
job.
it's 1 week.
That's good. That's
One
No,
week
great.
today.
That's good
11
job.
pounds in 1 week.
11 pounds in 1 week.
That's
Official today.
actually very impressive. Yeah. Nice job.
I was joking about it, and I think, in all honesty, I think the ice cream, not eating the ice cream every night before I go to bed, is a big bonus.
Yeah, that and probably the bean dip doesn't help either.
Hey,
bean dip
hey,
does
no
not-
slander for
Probably
the
not a lot of
bean dip
protein
in
in
this
there.
house.
Hey, Katie Bug, for those of you that watch Katie Bug on here every once in a while, she turned 16 today, so she's
Wow.
legal to drive. She's got to get her, she goes for driving test tomorrow, and I think her license on the 26th, something like that. So let me tell you this. When you go get your driver's license today, so she wanted it earlier. So, that was the only date available at the time we did it. So I said, you know what, certainly we can just get you in for another one. I created a new profile to go in there to see what it looked like before you canceled it. And so I created one for myself for a new license. It was now like the middle of October.
Wow.
That doesn't even make sense.
Wow. Is the DMV that backed up? I mean, I feel like you can just walk in
That's
there.
what I'm saying. We used to walk in and get it done, and now they're taking appointments. We got to go out and talk. It just doesn't make something's not lining up to me.
I
That's all
just
gotta say.
walked in. My mom was like, "I'm gonna call this place, and if they have a line, then we're good. Then we're not gonna go. We'll just go to the other place." So I ended up driving like an hour
When
and a
was
half.
this? Post-COVID?
No. yeah, it was last week actually. I just got my
Yeah,
license. I'm feeling.
Post-COVID, that whole thing has changed, and I don't get it. I mean, listen, I can't imagine y'all are that busy up there. I just can't imagine. I mean, now what are we bringing them in based on the breaks? You can bring one in, you get it done, then you go on a 45-minute break, you come back and do another one. How many people are they doing? You know what? Put me in charge of the DMV. I want to see them processes. You know what? You should, based on these numbers here, you should be able to do 20 an hour. You're only doing 3. We can get 17 more in. What do you mean you're busy?
Oh my goodness! I don't know. The DMV is a place in and of itself. It has definitely changed over the years.
I just, and also I'm surprised that when it comes to the driving test at the DMV, the actual driving test, that still gets done by a police officer, by a
State trooper.
by a state trooper.
State trooper.
That doesn't make. How's that
Really,
not been subbed out?
I just had some dude with a clipboard. There was no trooper with me whenever I did
no,
mine.
there was when I did it,
Well, that's been many years ago.
what? Yeah, they had.
Oh, cowboy!
Can you remember what car you did your driving test in?
So I got my license actually in Panama, so I didn't have a driving test there. But you couldn't get a license there till you're 18.
Yep.
I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this, my first car was a Volkswagen with a wooden bumper.
That's actually pretty cool.
You know what? And think of what that would be worth today with the shortage, on timber and all that. It would have been a killing today. to
You
still
get
have that
chips
wooden bumper.
and the wood.
I did my driving test in a 67.
Did you even have to do one? I
Mustang
mean,
and
your
fastback.
mom and they all probably knew everybody. They just go sign it. You're like a diplomat back in the day.
Yeah. No, I actually had to do the driving test, but I got to do it in it was nice. I got to do it in the fastback, in the Mustang fastback. 67.
Did we talk about 64 days?
We did.
We talked about 5 days of getting out and looking.
We did.
Love the streaks, and we did a great little show today, Drive Safe Dave, when we showed some videos, and it gave us a chance to kind of give some perspective on what we saw on these videos regarding situational awareness, because that's been the topic for 3 weeks now, and
Absolutely.
it continues to be that topic. Hey, producer, you got a video you can share? All right, here comes the first one, Drive Safe. Situational awareness. What are you seeing right here?
I'm seeing 2 dump trucks moving over into our lane and basically taking our space in front of the vehicle. And here we are backing off quickly to allow for enough space to be safe and that we can stop if the vehicle in front of us stops.
Yep, I thought we did a great job, like you said there, of backing off, not keep pushing, backing off, giving them the space they need for 2 reasons, so we don't get our windows splashed with rocks, right? And probably the real reason was it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You were aware and you said, you know what, I'm going to give them some more space.
Because one bump up here on a big bump, and you're getting hit.
I mean, aren't they supposed to have tarps on them things or not?
Not if they're empty.
Are they really ever empty?
I don't. Well, yeah, they have to be
No,
empty half
there's
the time.
always
There's always pebbles. There's always
in there.
pebbles.
Drive safe, Dave. There's always
What are you
pebbles in there.
talking-
Seriously,
You have to wash them out sometimes.
No.
Oh yeah.
That's the wind's job. That's
Yeah.
that's for the road.
That's why they're not tarped, to help get it cleaned out a little bit. What else we got, producer? All right, what do we got here? We're driving down, just chilling out. Got some butt. Oh goodness gracious! Get off his butt, truck.
And you know what? That's like out of the gate. That truck is gone. But the great thing about here is, once again, the space is taken immediately in front of you. The driver does a great job right here, already backing off, already making a change, giving enough space
How
for the
fast
vehicle.
is that truck going?
It is going faster
She's
than
gone, man. She is gone. I mean, look at that thing. Goodness gracious.
And pushing this
Yes,
vehicle.
you know what? Hey, if you're out there driving just a regular truck or a work truck, what that is, listen, situation awareness, speeding space is even for the 4-wheelers, right?
Yeah,
Drive
and I'm
safe?
going to say he's probably not doing that in Georgia today.
Yeah, you know what? The Southeast Conference has got their shield going on down there. Well, they'll get them busted. What else we got here?
All
Oh, yes. We're just chilling down, driving down.
Jefferson.
I don't know. I may run this yellow light. I'm thinking, oh, nope, there's Popo. Popo.
We don't Popo. 5-0.
Popo. Yeah, 5-0 going on. I think, yeah. Drive safe, Dave. Come on. So anyway, we're driving down. We have a yellow, right? It's coming up on a stale green
We have a
light.
stale green light.
We stop in plenty of time.
Yeah.
Maybe the Popo had something to do with it too. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
going to say no matter what, great decision. No matter what, situational awareness, big time.
Yeah, you know, you just remember it. Even though you've got a yellow light, you never want to enter into an intersection with a yellow light going, because that's not what it's for. It's to clear the intersection.
Yeah, the only time I'm stopping that quick when I see something like that is if there's a Dairy Queen on the corner. I mean, I'm going to give it a chance to
Warm.
turn.
What is it? What is it?
Oh,
from
yeah,
the donuts place.
The Krispy
Krispy
Kreme.
Hot now.
Hot now.
I don't think they've seen. I don't.
Locking it up.
I don't know where this truck is right here, but I can promise you there's no Krispy Kremes there. That's for sure. We got any more videos? Is that the 3?
Yeah,
So
that's
good
3.
stuff there. And Drive Safe, you brought up about the Southeast Conference, right? What's going on down there in Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina?
They've got their own awareness week going on down there with 100 days of driving. What we've been mentioning for quite a while. They've got their own action going down there, and they are targeting speeding and unsafe driving.
That white truck we saw.
Definitely.
They're focused on that.
Yeah,
the 4-wheelers, the big trucks.
Right, and multiple violations going on there as well. Not just the simple speeding, but also crowding and getting tailgating. You're causing a real problem there, and I think that's what they're doing down there. They're out targeting people speeding. They want them to slow down. They want them to be safer.
They're also targeting unsafe lane changes too.
Yes.
So things that we don't even think about getting pulled over for. If you make those lane changes too abruptly, or you're not checking those mirrors and you make that lane change and cut somebody off, that's something they're paying attention to this week.
Yeah, and a lot
Passing
of videos
on the right.
Yeah, and then a lot. Yeah, passing on the right. They have a lot of videos that we see each and every day as we target it, and as we talk about it, and hearing the lies. When some of these trucks come over, and even though that white pickup came over, I really think the culprit in all of it was the guy pushing.
Yeah, you know what? So let's talk a little bit about is it called the Southern Shield? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that Southern Shield tomorrow. And, we do know this, that they're focused on lane changes, unsafe lane changes, passing people that way you shouldn't pass, speed, space. Producer, let's go back a week. Let's find some videos that just show all of this going on. That happens to us every single day. Drive Safe, you talked about it. That's part of the situational awareness. It's the 100 deadliest days of summer. they're doing this with that intention too, right? They mentioned that in part of their article is that, hey, they are doing this during the 100 deadliest days. Even they recognize what we're going through, and we want to show you what y'all go through every day. In case you missed some of these videos, we're going to share some with you and why situational awareness is so daggum important in what you do every day, because you've got to see all of the craziness in there in order to react the way that you need to react to avoid an accident. Our fault or no fault, we don't want an accident. Drive safe.
No, see, and that's the best way to protect life is no accident at all. Whether it's our fault or not our fault, by preventing any accident, we prevent the opportunity to lose life. And that's what we want to do here first and foremost is protect life. So it doesn't really matter. Fault is not what we're talking about here. What we are talking about here is doing what we can. And I'll tell you it's nice to know, and as you talk about it, what's going on, just their presence alone in larger numbers out there is going to help protect people, because people are going to slow down and react differently when the police are around. I mean,
they will for certain. So we want safety to continue to be your main focus on what we do every day. When you wake up, we want you to be safe. We want you to do that pre-trip, to find something wrong with that tractor, that trailer, that's going to prevent you from being the safest person you can be. We want to make sure that you're recognizing some of the warning signs. Fatigue. Even when you wake up, drive safe, and you just had 14 hours of sleep and you're still tired. Have you been there? Have you slept so long that you wake up and you're still tired?
Well, sometimes, and I don't know if this happens to you, sometimes I just don't get a restful sleep. I mean, it's just something hurts now. Like, never before, but now just something hurts, and I don't sleep as well as I used to. And there are times when you don't get the rest that you need. You're not comfortable or what have you. I mean,
you need me to rub your back?
No, yeah, would you? And the other thing is, there are some things that go on in people's lives. There are some things that go on in people's lives that also keeps them from sleeping.
Without a doubt.
I mean, life gets in the way.
It does.
And you sometimes worry about things, and they keep you from sleeping, and those things can impact you.
They do. Hey, drive safe. Let's give us the phrase that pays, and you know what? Let's make sure we do it twice so Buckle Up Bob doesn't have to read it later on in the show.
Situational awareness is just the beginning. It takes action to keep everyone living.
One more time.
Situational awareness is just the beginning. It takes actions to keep everyone living. It's Drive Safe Dave here. Going to do another safety show about Get Out and Look. Ben Turner's hooking up, and he's going to reposition the trailer into a new spot. He's going to demonstrate in the rain what it means to get out and look. Here we are outside, getting wet, but you know what? It does not deter Ben of doing the right thing by getting out of the trailer and walking back and making sure it is safe back there before he backs up into the spot. He checks all the way around the trailer and then comes back and gets in the truck. Notice the lights are flashing. He blows the horn and starts the process of getting back into the spot. Here he is concluding it. Flasher's still going, making sure that he's visible and everybody knows what's going on. But you know what? Another reason this is successful is because he chose to get out and look the BCB way. Thanks, everybody, and have a great and safe day.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hard to follow that act, right? That's kind of like, I don't know, Kellen and Buckle Up following Laurel and Hardy, or Abbott and Costello, right? Probably Abbott and Costello is closer, because you got Lou. Would that be Sir Rick?
Yeah.
Sir Rick would be Lou, and right? Costello was the short one. Am I right? So,
yeah.
Abbott and Costello. I'm probably going to catch heck for that a little bit later, ain't I, if they're listening. But hey, welcome everybody to the afternoon safety show. It is Buckle Up Bob with independent contractor Kellen. You know what? Let's see what the drivers say. Independent contractor Kellen or no wrecking Kellen.
Hey there, I like that one.
I kind of like that. It kind of runs a little bit there, and we don't want any accidents.
We don't want wrecks. We want to protect life.
No wrecks, then no loss of life. Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. We have been talking about the on duty and the definitions and the rules that, as they are worded into the little FMCSR book, right? And so today is Wednesday, and we added these two, and they don't really go together per se, but they're kind of like short, sweet, to the point, and not a lot creativity in here as far as misinterpretation. So kind of lumped them together. And it's basically on-duty time is all driving time as defined in the term driving time. So again, that's kind of self-explanatory. But the fifth paragraph, all-time loading or unloading a commercial motor vehicle or supervising or assisting in the loading or unloading. And so just a quick little touch on that is we see this every once in a while on the logs where drivers will actually select it as an option. When they come on duty, you've got all them canned messages. And as I tell everybody in orientation, you only really need two in any of the duty statuses you change, and that's break and other in the off duty, and it's beginning a shift pre-trip on your first pre-trip of the day, and the other button. It's just can simplify your life. But the thing to remember is that load and unload is not the customer doing it, because that's what drivers tell me when I call them. Remember whose logs these are. These are not the customer's logs. They're your logs. So when DOT looks at them and audits, they want to know what you were doing. Well, you weren't physically loading or unloading the trailer. The customer was. So now the other end of this is the supervising or assisting. So what that would encompass is if a customer required you to make sure there was 40 pallets and 40 pallets came off, or if you had to count parts, hey, there was 100 containers and I counted 100 off, whatever it would be, then you are working, and that is on duty. And that kind of goes with what we said on the very for Monday, because all time in or on the commercial motor vehicle unless you are resting in or on it. So we really got to the place about not loading or unloading or working. Hey, if you're not resting, then you got to be on duty. So when you're at the customer. So, that pretty much covers everything. You can be in their driver lounge resting. So, but if you're on that dock or you're required to do some task associated with that load, then it has to be on duty, not driving. So just kind of want to clarify that a little bit. And then tomorrow is going to be a real easy one. And then we will go into the one for Friday. But hey, we are at 64 days, Mr. Kellen, and 5 get out and look. We are going to hit a week here before we get to the end of it. And then we go into the treacherous weekends. But again, 64 days almost got us. We did have a DOT reportable. I was talking to some people today, and they want to know the DOT reportable. That 64, our last preventable accident was a DOT reportable. So just remember that. So the 64 is right now currently is the same for our DOT reportables that were preventable. One of the things we do to help our drivers is, I just submitted a data queue to challenge a DOT reportable on our record that, we couldn't do anything about. We were stopped, rear-ended. That is one that's challengeable. So we'll see how that goes. It should be a slam dunk, but, with the government, you never know. So we're going to hope. I did find out we were stopped. Another truck and trailer were stopped behind us. And then a third one was unable to stop, hit the second one, pushed them into us. Both of them were towed, and we were not, because by the time it hit us, there was no damage really to speak of. And when I looked and challenged it, the second carrier has challenged it as well. So they're on top of theirs as well, trying to get it everything expunged from them, because obviously both of us were stopped. The police report said that. So it's just one of those things where, we've been talking a lot in the 9:30 segment about the personal conveyance and the yard moves and the logging questions in these accidents and the verdict that was happened at Warner. When we're not at fault, there's nothing else we can do, yet it can still be bad for us. And that's what Sir Rick and Drive Safe Dave were alluding to. We got to stop all accidents, because, man, you don't ever want to have somebody else decide your fate. And the way you can control that is slow down, increase that space, give yourself every opportunity to avoid an accident, and then they don't have anything to go after you for, right?
Yeah, big picture, see the hazards, react to the hazards as they go. Hey, Bob, you were talking about data queuing or fighting them. So what is the criteria for if you want to try fighting that?
It's tough. There's not many that you can challenge. We were literally T-boned down in Houston and challenged it, and they wouldn't remove it. Somebody came out a side street, couldn't stop, hit the middle, right in front of our tandems on the trailer, and I challenged it, and they said, nope, not a rear end accident. we had one right out here out of Mansfield, 287 here, going right. Our driver was going along, another pickup truck passed him in the rain, lost control, spun around, hit a Jersey barrier, went to the other side, facing at us, so I tried to challenge it with a head-on, which is a challengeable. They still wouldn't allow that one either to remove it. It's very tough, and this is where, you know, I'm hoping the Biden administration continues with what Trump was trying to do, you know, really get some of that stuff changed, because that's really unfair. We weren't at fault, you know, clearly. There was no way to prevent that accident. I mean, we were under the speed limit, and yet we have no avenue to challenge it. So, again, it just shows where you got to avoid them all because you don't know. Now, this other one, I believe we're waiting for the police report, but we just had one where another vehicle came across the median, hit us head on. That is one that says challengeable, so we're hoping that that'll be one that we can also, you know, to me, that's more of a questionable one. Not that it was our fault, but sometimes you have an opportunity to avoid them. Yeah. Somebody T-bones you out of nowhere. I don't know how you can foresee that and be able to prevent that. You know, somebody spins out in front of you. Yeah, you can hit the brakes, but if you still hit them, you hit them. You know, so it just seems unfair. So hopefully we'll win this one and we'll win the next one. Also challenging a roadside inspection, right, folks. Keep doing your jobs out there. I know it's hard and it seems like nobody else is, but I can assure you it is. And these are critical, and some of these officers are just nuts. You know, you've all dealt with them. You know, we got, I forget what the two things. Oh, he said his logs were in violation. We've got the printout that says there's no violation on the log. So I don't know what that officer was looking at, but we're going to submit that. And then I believe there was another thing in there that didn't make any sense either that we're going to challenge as well. So, again, just kind of give you some of the background of what we do for you all, so we're not just sitting here, you know, playing games or, you know, running around doing nothing. We do try to find time, you know, and again, that's why it's so important that when you call, make sure that it's important, you know, that it's an emergency kind of thing. Otherwise, send a message or something, and then keep bugging us. As Donna said, you know, sometimes you just get behind with phone calls. It happened to me today. You know, I was on that phone with drivers from about 11:40, 11:50, all the way to 10 to 1. So, again, you know, sometimes we miss meetings, and it just is what it is. And so we really appreciate what you all do out there, and we're going to do our darndest to always be there for our drivers. Many of you have been really cut me some slack because, you know, I do my best to return calls, but sometimes there'll be 5 or 6 while I'm on the phone with another driver, and I'll see them pop up, and I try to go back and catch them all up. But really appreciate what you all do out there. And so with that, we are going to get ready to see some weather update for you all. All right. We switched from Buckle Up Bob to, I don't know, we're going to have to come up with a name, Weatherman Bob. No, that's not good enough. So, but hey, Windy Bob? No. A lot of them think full hot air, right? But you could see kind of just what we said. We weren't going to be a lot this afternoon. Just some really scattered stuff all over, but nothing really coming together, nothing really showing as a severe weather, just really what we thought we would see. And the forecast, as you can see, is for the rain in all them areas. So we just kind of go back real quick. You can see right here was the forecast and a little bit out there. And then when you look at, that's exactly where it is. Here's the forecast. We had some scattered showers out there and then along the Gulf Coast and a few up here in the Northeast as well. Again, no red going on. So they're not expected to be very serious. And I think about 8 o'clock, not really quite, but a little bit after that, they start, there you go. It kind of just disappears around 9 o'clock this evening. Not a whole lot at all goes on. That carries over into the morning. So we get to about 6. You can see not much when we wake up tomorrow. Again, this is Central Time, so even on the East Coast when you're out there. And then 12, around noon, we start to see a little activity, but nothing in the severe category, as you can well see. And then here again, it's just kind of almost a carbon copy of today. is going to be for our Thankful Thursday. And the wind gusts, we'll see a little kick up in wind. You can see we start to see some of the purple out there in Utah for tomorrow evening, but this afternoon, just not a lot going up. Right there, you got the 30s in the center of the country, the Dakotas, Nebraska, a little bit out there in Idaho where they're fighting them fires, but just not a lot of wind to speak of. You can see just some 30s here, but most of it's in the low 20s. And that is supposed to be kind of the same tomorrow, I believe. There you go. So at 3 p.m. tomorrow, again, the forecast. You got 20s, it dies a little bit here. Idaho is going to see some 30s, but then you can see a lot of the 20s. So it picks up about 5 miles over the same area, but nothing that's expected to be really intense. Our current wind conditions, here's a 20. See if it's gusting. 29-mile-an-hour gust. Here in northern Kansas there, right along I-70. I don't see anything else that really, here's some 18 in Pennsylvania. Not really gusting, 21 is the gust there. And we got a 20 up here in the Wyoming, Montana. And that is gusting at 26. So really not a lot of wind issues going on, and that's supposed to be continued for the next 24 hours as well. So, hey everybody, enjoy the weather. Remember, if you do come across one of these spot showers, right, slow it down. These are the tricky ones where, you know, obviously you go in and out and dry. The roads could be oily, dirty, and then they're going to get some of this light rain. And we talked a little bit yesterday with our drivers, talked about how the first little light rain is really some of the most dangerous road conditions. So be mindful of it. Situational awareness, right? We always talk about it. Know that the roads are dirty and oily, and then when they get a little rain on them, mixed in them, it becomes a lot like ice and black ice in them conditions. So be mindful of that. And so with that, we'll get a little note from HR.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. With it being Wednesday, it is time to remind new company drivers, if you started the week of June 20th, it is your open enrollment week. So please log into Paycom, go to benefits, click on 2021 open enrollment, and have that completed before Friday evening. If you have any questions, please give me a call. I'm at extension 168, or you can send an email, christy.self@bcbtransport.com. Today we have one birthday, and it is for Jerry Phillips. Happy birthday, Jerry. Hope you have a really great day. Everyone, please continue to wear your mask, wash your hands, use that antibacterial. Have a good day.
Hey, welcome back, and we've got whatever we're going to call him, No Wrecking Kellen. I do like that. It just seems to kind of jump right off the page. Take it away, Dale.
Hey, I like this video. I mean, we have to talk about situational awareness, big picture, what's going on and everything. So when the video starts, we're following this tow truck, and we get really close behind him before we get out there. And so when we get close behind like a tow truck or a big truck, we lose the ability to see the big picture. And this is a tow truck, and so you got to think that, you know, maybe he's looking for a tow. He's going to that, and so when we're that close behind, if he decides to hit his brake or anything, you know, it can go differently. Of course, he should turn his lights on, his brakes first, but you know, we have to keep that space. Great job once we get out into the other lane, you know, creating space and making sure we have plenty of space between us and the vehicle ahead of us.
Is that a tornado forming out there? Kind of looked like a little funnel, didn't it? Right over there to the left. Possibly.
You are a weatherman. Look at
There
you go.
I was like, hey, watch out for that little burst.
You know, this is just another great situational awareness. The driver's really got big picture in mind. He's a situational awareness. He knows he's got a merge point off there. He sees the traffic slowing. He's got great space at the beginning of the video. He's keeping his space. And like I said, as he notices the merge point and the traffic slowing, safely changes lanes, gets out there, keeps his speed and space. And then that way at the merge point, the other oncoming vehicles have a great opportunity to come on with no incident. So just a nice job by a driver there.
Terrific job.
Okay, you know, here's one where, you know, there's no policeman at the corner of this one, but our driver still does the right thing, stops at the stoplight. And it's pretty hard to see at the beginning of the video that's a stoplight. However, the four-wheeler takes the opportunity. That's why we always say, you know, the yellow is to clear it. And this guy, I mean, wasn't even yellow, I don't believe, when he got to it. So great job by our driver. I wish the four-wheelers and everybody else out there would do as good a job as our drivers do.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, you know, we used to joke all the time, what does yellow mean? Speed up, right? So you don't get caught. But boy, as you get older and then you see some of the videos of our drivers and some of the horrific accidents that happen at intersections, you're like, it's not really funny.
You know, and then like I said, situational awareness, I'm looking around. If you'll notice, you know, there's a pedestrian that's coming out from the left-hand side. I mean, so this driver's paying attention to a lot of things, making a lot of decisions, good decisions, and getting stopped for this yellow light. So nice job.
Yeah, there was something on the news today that I was watching where this lady was doing 120 miles an hour through an intersection, not holding the steering wheel. They literally, when they caught her, she said, I let Jesus take the wheel. And that was what she told him. So again, I like to hear if there's some drugs or impairment going on there, but 120 miles per hour. Yep, it was crazy.
You know, there's it's one of the BCBs of driving. You know, there's no regulation that says how far back you should stop or come to a stop from behind a vehicle and everything. But we always say when we come to a stop behind a vehicle or at a stoplight that we should be able to see pavement between us and the vehicle ahead. And so that's why I threw this video in there, just kind of a little reminder that, hey, when we stop in traffic or we stop at a stoplight and there's somebody ahead of us, to make sure we can see pavement, make sure we have adequate space. So if something were to happen, that vehicle stalls out and there's another person right behind us, now we have no place to go. If you keep that space and something happens, then you have your out.
You know, yeah, and you also get that cushions because, you know, sometimes it's happened to me where I know I'm applying the brake, but for whatever reason, I feel like I'm pushing it pretty hard, but I'm not slowing down as quick as I think I should be. And then all of a sudden I was like, boom, there I am, right? And so when if it's in your nature or your plan and your defensive habits to allow to stop and see the pavement, then when you have that 15, 20-foot fudge where, hey, if I'm a little late on this or I misjudge something, I've got that cushion. But when you're trying to just stop as close as you can and you don't have that instilled in there, then they can become, you can go from an accident, right? In a rear end accident.
Well, let's think about the accident that you're challenging right now. We got pushed into another vehicle. You know, that's another reason to have that space between you. The longer the space, the further you have to cushion it. So, you know, there's a lot of reasons to do it.
Have you ever been hit and pushed into another vehicle, producer? No, Dale?
No, I can't say I have.
I have. I wasn't with this company more than 2 months and was driving home on 20 and traffic stopped right at a big merge point. There's 820 and 20 and, you know, as it goes west. And so everything slowed. I stopped probably 4 feet behind a pickup truck, just like this, in my car. And some lady wasn't paying attention, hit me in the rear end, shoved me in there. I had both ends crumpled. So it is scary. So your point is well taken.
All right, this one here, you know, situational awareness. I don't know if the driver's aware of what ever been through this intersection or not. But if you notice, we have train tracks right before the stoplight, the red light. So as the video starts, there's a couple of signs. One that says, "Do not enter crossing unless you can drive completely through." Another one says, "Do not stop on tracks." And then the stop here on red light. And the white line for the stop of this red light is actually before the tracks. The driver chooses to go across it. I mean, and so there's a good possibility that we're blocking or sitting on the train tracks. Never want to have that happen. And so, like I said, we have to be aware of what's going on and read and follow the signs. Again, Drive Safe Dave says they just don't put signs there for no reason.
Right. They know they're close to that intersection, and let's face it, they're addressing commercial vehicles because buses, right? These are all commercial vehicles that are going to be extra in length, right? They're not talking to the four-wheelers necessarily, but yes, it's for everybody in case you get somebody already ahead of you and another four-wheeler decides to stop on the tracks. I've seen that. It's pretty stupid. I think producer gave a story earlier today about one of his buddies doing that. So, but, you know, it sparked great conversation. And just a reminder, because we talk not just to our drivers, we talk to other companies that tune into the show. And some of you may haul hazmat. And so we kind of talked about the rules this morning, and the rules are you must stop, complete stop 15 to 50 feet before the track, and you cannot permanently stop 15 to 50 feet after it. So again, that's why that sign's up there to warn you that, hey, you know what? This is pretty narrow. You're not going to make it. Just sit here until the light changes. So it's just a reminder, of some railroad safety, if you will. And to my knowledge, and I used to work at a company that we built the trains with the trailers, and to my knowledge, no vehicle or person has ever won a battle with a train. They win it every time.
Yeah.
They're bigger, stronger, and heavier, and you will not win that battle. I promise you. And it's pretty bad. Who we got, producer?
Yeah, we got Jeff Marsh and then Donna Kasem. What do you got for us, Jeff?
Yeah, back on that where that tow truck one is, I heard him say that he should have his lights on. Tow trucks, technically.
Yeah, Dave, Jeff must be in a dead area.
They don't have. Sorry, I had somebody try to call me, and then maybe lose my concentration. But technically, they don't have to turn their lights on until they're in tow. A lot of them will use their lights to help get through traffic, get through where they need to faster. But technically, they don't have to have the lights on until they're in tow. So a lot of them will use them if they're doing, freeway, it's clear and all this stuff. A lot of them will turn them on until they get up to where they're the person that they're going to tell them stuff like that.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Who we got? Donna next?
Yeah, we got Donna. What do you got for us?
Hey, good afternoon. Railroad tracks are no joke. I lost a very dear and near friend that was killed there in Nebraska by a train, and it was a little bit different situation. The train track arms have been broken forever, and for whatever reason, I don't know what exactly happened, but she was killed, left 2 babies and a husband. But I wanted to bring up, and I brought it up in the past, if anybody ever gets stuck on a railroad track, there is, on every crossing, there is numbers on where the arm is and everything. If there is no arms, there's still going to be numbers on there to call ASAP, and then you call the police. Don't ever just sit there and think, oh, what am I going to do, or try to get off. Call those numbers ASAP. Do not hesitate to call them. Because that will let them know that there's a vehicle stranded, not they're stuck or whatever. I've pulled oversized loads and skateboards and stuff where, double drops, where you have to cross at them at an angle. You can't go directly straight over them, and there are a lot of crossings that you got to pay attention and be mindful of. But I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention again and mention that there are numbers on every railroad crossing to call ASAP. Do not hesitate.
Hey, that's a great point, Donna. And again, I have some limited knowledge. I've forgotten a lot of it, but working with the one company of the FRA regulations. And those numbers are because, just like you all, those trains have dispatchers, right? And they have people that can get in trouble, and they can all immediately issue slow orders. They'll slow them trains down to 5 miles per hour so that they're able to stop if there's any trains in the area. So that number, I'm so glad you brought that up. That's a great point. That number gets somebody notice, it's like a 911 number, if you will, that they're going to be able to get orders to that conductor and get that train slowed down, maybe even stopped, depending where it is. But it'll say, hey, we got a situation. You're 40 minutes out, but you're going to have to slow it down to make sure, and we'll give you the all clear kind of thing. So great point.
Well, it also gives them the location of the track. Say if you're somewhere out in a rural area and you really don't know exactly where you're at.
Yes.
It's just like, the rural areas have, farm market roads or country roads or whatever.
Yes.
It gives them the exact location where you are located.
Yeah. And since we've been talking about this, it's really a good subject because I remember as a kid, and I think I've even done it as an adult. I can't tell you the last time I did it, but have you ever taken your four-wheel car and weaved in between them because you didn't see a train coming? And I've actually, in my younger days, tried to beat a train. I did beat it, but it's just like, what a stupid thing to do, right?
And you always want to look twice because, you know, it's so easy to look past them the first time.
Yes.
Take that second look at them, roll your windows down. I mean, don't shift on the railroad tracks. Just all little common sense things and just reminders, you know, things to do. We lived on a farm and we had a train tracks dividing our property. And I took a tractor across at one time. Dad always told us, look, and I remember looking both ways. And I crossed a track, and less than 5 seconds later, train goes through. And granted, it was not fast moving, but it just goes to show you can look past something. So take that second look.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up great points that our drivers mentioned this morning. Hey, for those of you out there that drive hazmat, you're not supposed to shift going across the tracks, right? And you are required to roll your window down and listen as well. Again, you just want to use all the tools available, not just your eyesight, but you want to use your ears and hear. Sometimes maybe there's a curve. I've seen crossings where you cross and there's a curve immediately right around that you can't see, but boy, you can hear that train coming. So absolutely right. Good stuff. Anybody else, producer? All right, everybody. Hey, that's going to do it for the show this afternoon. We will be here bright and early with everybody tomorrow at 7:15 for the Sir Rick and Drive Safe Dave show, followed immediately by the Safety Show. Or should we start naming it Abbott and Costello? Have a blessed and great afternoon, everybody. We'll talk with everybody tomorrow morning.
All right.